I want to talk about the symbolism in this book cover, which I designed. This book is coming out on Tuesday. It's about a banshee who is also a very lethal empath, learning to navigate having friends and falling for someone for the first time because of a curse that's placed on her. And ultimately, she has to decide if these people she was never meant to love is worth sacrificing the one thing that keeps her safe. Now, I actually got this off of Amazon, and I knew I was looking for a hair comb because it is this thing that these banshees use to protect themselves, and especially Sadie from going wild, right? And so if you look, this is the one that is on the book cover, but the one on the book cover is pink and silver, and this one is gold and blue. Now, they actually have this on Amazon now in pink, and I don't know if they always did, and I just bought it in blue, but one of the things I knew about this was that I could turn pretty much anything in Photoshop any color I wanted, so I wasn't maybe not worried about it. Perhaps initially I thought I would have a blue cover, but as the character evolved and had a more coquette style in this secret identity she has in this new town that she is living in, she became like more of a pink person. So I have this here, and it is really representative of, is she willing to make this sacrifice for, you know, humans and paras that she never actually thought she would have a connection to, because she always tried to stay disconnected in order to manage her emotional dysregulation. I also in this cover have a cameo, which is something that her mother wears and actually came from her mother. So it being passed down in a moment where they're trying to heal Sadie from this initial curse, and it ultimately not really working, is very symbolic. And then I have this compass, which is something that came from her father, but became this source of like hope and anxiety for her and her mom as they pass it back and forth to each other anytime they have to go off and do something dangerous, reminding them that they want the other to come back. And so it does play a pretty key role in the plot as the story moves forward. Hidden back here though, actually, sorry, this is the pocket watch. The compass is back here and the pocket watch is here. Sorry, I'm like trying to look at the video in reverse and it's very confusing to me. I should know my own cover. This is a pocket watch. And so it actually represents something called the noun in the book. Now, when Sadie is trying to help these people who are grieving the loss of the people they've loved, she does try to keep an emotional distance, and she's always done it that way as a banshee, but her mom does it differently. She likes to be a little bit closer to her people that she's trying to help, right? And so this is really symbolic of the distance that Sadie tries to keep. She tries to find them something, a person, a place, a thing, that will help them find solace as they move through this stage of their life. And ultimately she ends up discovering that sometimes just being there for someone and sitting with them in their grief is the thing that they actually need. I have all of these little purple flowers, which they look like herbs. I call them flowers. In my Photoshop doc, I kept calling them purple flowers. They're like these little purple herbs, and they're representative of this very deadly plant that can hurt banshees alone, right? So there should be weaknesses. I have of ballads and banshees because banshees have this mournful lament that they do when they're trying to warn people that death is coming, and they also have a very deadly scream that can bring people to their knees. And I think that I've covered all the bases here except for the flowers. I have roses here because the mother-daughter relationship is really significant. And even though they come into this life and they have new names and these new personas they take on in this life, mom's name is Rose, and so I thought that was really important to kind of signify how close their mother-daughter relationship is. And then again, there is a romance that happens in this book, and it's slow burn. And I'll make another video about the slow burn romance and why it ended up the way that it did. But this is book 1 in the series. And so far, I believe that people are enjoying it. And so if you like to be a part of like an author's journey and really like seeing something come from nothing and then become something, this has been 10 years in the making, and it's finally coming out on Tuesday. So you don't even have to wait that long. Please go order.